refresh that. See if it shows. Should show my grill. So today I'm gonna do. It's the first time doing a live stream on this channel, and so today I'm gonna do a little animated GIF for a friend. Yes, I say GIF because I'm old. Shut up. It just hits the ears wrong. GIF. So it's only gonna be a few frames. I know y'all know what this is, hopefully, but I just figured I would share it because why not? So what I'm gonna do is, I was actually gonna draw it in Clip Studio Paint, bring it in like I normally would do with backgrounds and things, but I don't really think that's absolutely necessary for something as simple as this. We will see how it works out, and I'll throw you some tips and tricks along the way if I can remember to say the things that I need to say. So all right, this is the drawing layer. I need a color card layer, and they won't appear that way with the little black or gray boxes. It's just what it does when it's not highlighted. So, let's see. That's the color called. Actually, that should be up here. There, that's how it should be. So when you have it highlighted, it's just letting you know that you're clicking it, I guess, is why it's set that way. I'm not really sure why they have it set that way. I usually turn that off. Then... So okay, I explain this. My friend, yeah, that's the only correct way to pronounce it. Fight me, yeah, that's true. That's if y'all don't know, that's my wife down there commenting. So I was going to. Okay, my friend has a song called Jelly, and in the UK they call it Jelly, apparently. So anyway, it's going to be a Jello animation, and it's just going to bounce around. So he's going to use it. I think he's going to use it for a lyric video, or maybe like supplement it in a video of his. That's something I helped him record some vocals for and stuff. Just a goofy thing. It's just a funny song. So all I got to do is, I actually, believe it or not, I did bring up a reference for Jelly because you don't really need it. But I did look at it real quick because Jelly is a funny looking thing. It has like, reflections and things in it, and it's translucent, which is kind of important if you want it to look like Jello. Has some reflective properties and then some translucent ones, so you can change the opacity and things in here too, if you so choose. And it has some striations from when it's cut. Things like that. It's kind of a weird thing when you look at it. Anyway, I'm going to do a straight ahead animation. So what you do is normally you would if you keyframe, you plan out what your main poses are going to be, and then you animate in betweens. In this case, it's just going to be straight ahead because it's just going to be wiggling Jello. So you just kind of make a block. And yet, like I said, I am referencing a Jello. Oh, you know what? Another thing that's really cool about, I always say cool, damn it. A really cool option. See, still said it. Come on, damn it. Let's draw behind. One of the things I really like about, it's the pencil, that's why. The pencil tool has this little extra line, so like if you do that, it cuts it off. So that's kind of a nice feature when you want to draw quickly. Just get to your point real quick. Let's see. And it does, actually the less accurate it is, the better, because it's going to create that bouncy effect. And it's not perfectly straight because the Jello isn't perfectly straight. So I figure I put a block of Jello here. I know this is a goofy animation, but that is the point. Okay. Oh, they didn't actually do it that time. So the sloppier this looks, the better off it's going to be. And I think actually, I think that's a little bit too perfect of a set of lines on the top. So let's make them look a little bit lazier than that. So the easier way to do that. There's a lot of little shortcuts and stuff in here that they don't work the same way as in like Adobe. If you hit Control D, it makes you change, let's select There's different selections and things. If you control D, it changes the drawing name, because in Harmony, it forces you to the same image. If you copy it, you're literally making a copy of that image, which sounds obvious, right? But what's happening is you're referencing the same image. It's just copying it to a different frame. So if you want the same face or something, that's why it's done that way. If you like, there's a mouth movement, you want to copy and paste it a bunch of times, that's why it's done that way. Just for the record, in case you didn't know, in case you wanted to know, now you know. Oh, you know, I think I want it to be offset, yeah, so it looks a little bit more like it's on top and wiggling. And so the looser it is, like I was saying, the more lively it'll look. And that makes sense when you see an emotion. Good Lord. So my wife's laughing at me. So then, yeah, if you want to create striations, you know, first off, oh man. Sorry. Good night. Okay. If you want it to be a little bit more, I'm trying to say, if you use this, it keeps wanting to cut off the lines. So if you want it to be striated, turn that crap off. This can be colored. This will be colored too. And then just put the striations the opposite way. And like I said, don't be perfect about it. If you're not, it'll actually come out better when it's wiggling. This will give a sense that it's kind of depth shaded. There's words in there, I swear. And of course the striation here, if you change the color, it might look better, because black lines like that, when you hatch, it's going to create the sense of depth. So if you don't want that and you want your striations to be colored, which I think I might, I'm going to save this. I'm going to color these. First I'm going to do the animation to make sure that it works well. It's only a few blocks, like I said. I need another, sorry, I sneezed a couple times, I can't breathe. I need another drawing. This will be plate. I don't know why I did two of them just now. That's the drawing right there. Okay, so for now, I like to lock my layers when I draw, because I'll forget and I'll draw on the wrong layer for hours and I'll be pissed. Okay, so I'm serious, it happens all the time. I know a lot of people do that and it pisses them off too, but that's why I started doing it, because then I'm less likely to screw up. Come on. So if we just, I'm gonna move this up some. We have room for the, oh man, for the Jello. Always got to have room for Jello. Okay, if you know that reference, you're as old as we are. So there's always room for Jello. So the easiest way to do it is to draw through. This is just, by the way, I'm just giving you like what I'm thinking. It doesn't necessarily have to be like this is how you do it exactly. I'm just showing you what I do, what my thought process is. So the Jello, you know, if you were looking straight down, it's going to be directly in the center of the plate, because why not? Something like that, right? Oh, it's dragging. That's crazy. Yeah. Actually, I think for this, I will turn that back on for the pencil. The pencil tool is vector. I think the paint one is too. Do not quote me on that. Hang on, I'm drawing this all stupid. I mean, for a plate, you could use the object drawing tools and stuff, but should I? Yeah, you know what? I don't usually like to be really cartoony about it, but I think let's just save time. Do that. And then the back of the plate will be kind of wider than the top of the plate because of the angle you're looking at it. Sort of like that. Nothing fancy. And then I'm not looking at a plate, by the way. I'm just looking at, I don't know why I'm looking over there. So that'll be good for the plate. Doesn't have to move. And then, get off the screen. All right, so once that's there, then we can just turn the onion skin on and keep drawing. Draw 4 or 5 of them. Oh, this needs to be extended. And in Harmony, this is Harmony Advanced, I don't know if that matters, but you just press Shift plus, and you can extend your drawing out. Very nice. I used to use Adobe all the time, and I got really used to it because I had it for years. And I used it in high school, so it was kind of my go-to. But anyway, if you keep the volume, oh, I gotta turn it off. Volume relatively the same, it'll look like it's moving and it won't look too crazy. But since it's Jello, it can, it can extend a little bit. As long as the volume is relatively similar, you just have to keep that in mind when you're doing it. That might be a little extreme, but it's a cartoon, so it's okay. I always say that. That's my excuse. It's a cartoon. Shut up. Now, I doubt that's going to look great, but let's turn the onion skin off. See, it'll make it look like it's dancing. Oh, I do need to do a little backline, and it'll make more sense once I get it going. You always start sloppy loose. Sloppy seconds, Always loose. Bump, 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 bump. And then when you do this, what will end up happening is your lines will continue to get crazier, but it'll force the effective movement. Hang on. I just need one. There we go. One back. There we go. So that way you can see where I'm at here. Okay, so you just kind of, and it kind of makes it look like it's a little bit alive. It's got some lively movement to it. Oops. I know this is kind of a goofy animation, but I thought it would be fun to do. Kind of share it. And again, don't overthink too much about like where the lines are. And it's meant to bounce around. And because you're naturally going to make mistakes anyway, when you do it that way, it should look like it's bouncing. And if it's moving too much over, I can move it. I'm just going to see how this works. So see, when you copy and paste like that, it'll copy the same drawing. And then, yeah, it's really fast. And this is at 12 frames, or 24 frames. Let's do 12. Yeah, it gives it sort of like an old electric company look to it. Very, very old school. All right. And then let's just extend the frames to 2s maybe. I can always do more in-betweens if I need it to look a little bit smoother, but it's meant to be a cartoon and goofy, so I'm not too worried about it. Yeah, see? Perfect. This is about 12 frames there, so it's about 1 second of animation. And then you just loop it. And more or less, I think that'll work. I don't know if he'll love it or not, and if he doesn't, then I'll do it again. But I ain't getting paid and doing it for being friends, so you can take what you get. I'm just kidding. I still want it to look good. So that one is a little bit too big right here compared to these two. So I think I'm actually going to fix this one. Because you want the volume to be relatively close, like I said. If it's too far off, it just doesn't look right. Where is the... Oh, right. That makes sense. trying to make sure that the onion skin is where it needs to be. Okay, so this one, maybe like that. Might be too extreme. Let me just pull this down a little bit. I'll go out here. Is that on? No. Let's see what that looks like. Still a little bit of a jump. So, okay. I'll just fix this one. Oops. Ah. Keep hitting my microphone. Holder stand thing. Boom arm. That's what it's called. Yeah, see, it's a little wonky sometimes, though. Let's see if that works. Yeah, that's cool. The only thing is I didn't do the back. Get off of there. So you don't have to be complicated with the animations with simple stuff like this. Just have fun. See, like that right there needs a... It needs a line right here. I always call it a back line. That needs a, you know, perspective line here. And then this one here, this one just needs to be expanded a little tiny bit more. And whoops, that looks terrible. Thing about animation is it's just images over and over, right? So like, don't worry too much about one specific image, because it's not going to be seen very long. So don't stress it too much. As long as it looks more or less right, it should be okay. Be free. Be free, Stanley! See, that's starting to make it look like it's a wiggly jello. Beautiful, right? If there's anybody even hearing me, but that's alright if you're not. I'll just chill with myself. Just figured I'd try some lives for a while because it's easier than trying to edit everything, and sometimes I don't know specifically what I'm going to do, and this way it's kind of behind the scenes. Hopefully it's useful to somebody. If nothing else, you're hanging out, right? All right. You know, I think we decided on the video, or in the song that he had written. It's a funny song, by the way. It's not meant to be serious. That it should be... I mentioned yellow jello. Oh, man, sorry. There's a joke in there. One of my friends, when he was in school at Florida State, he knew his roommate had said he didn't like banana pudding, and then they were out at some Chinese restaurant, and then he tried the pudding. He's like, "What? That's really good. What is that?" Mike tries it, and he goes, "Oh, it's banana pudding." He's like, "Oh, it's gross." So anyway, we use that as a joke in the Jello thing, because he knew somebody doesn't like Jello, so that's the whole point of the song. It's quite funny, I think. What do I know? So I'm gonna do just yellow foist, like plain yellow. And this isn't closing large gaps. Okay. Fine, be that way. All right. Just... And then, you know, if I can actually... I think I can transparent this, right? I think so. Come on now. Yeah, let's do like 127 or something. No, that's too little, right? 155. That'll work. And the cool thing about, I say cool a lot, I mean to, but sorry. The thing I like about this a lot is that you can, anytime you make a change to the tagged colors over here, it changes it for the entire animation within that folder. So it saves a lot of time. And then, since it's yellow jello, let's see how you make change to one, it changes the others. That's what I was saying. If you want them to be different images, you have to hit Control D, rename it, or you can also right click it, go to drawings, and then rename the drawing, or duplicate the drawing, or create an empty or whatever. If you don't, it's always referencing the same image, which is good for most animation workflows, but sometimes you just have to be aware of that. Let's see, this thing. I'm being nitpicky here, but I just don't love those hooks. I don't mind overshoots. I just don't like that hook. Sometimes the overshoots are interesting to look at. Like up here, that's fine. That doesn't bother me. But when it hooks back because it's an artifact of digital drawing, sometimes I gotta fix it. Like that's fine. The overshoot there is fine. Again, you're not gonna see the drawing but for like 2 seconds. I mean, not even. On here, it's like, 1/12 of a second. That's nothing. I'm guilty of OCD. Just like anybody else, I think. A lot of people are, I think, when they draw and stuff, but I try not to do it too much. So I feel like it's not the point. But, it kind of looks like butter, doesn't it? But whatever. It's bouncing butter right now. And eventually it will be shiny. So then to create the effect of... There's the under... That's the whole drawing. That's how it would look. And I don't know if I need to... Nah, I guess I'll leave the background. I do, however, need to create another yellow. Yeah, if you... That's a trick, too. If you have the color highlighted and you click it, it'll start with that color. Just FYI. Now, let's just call it yellow shade, maybe. Because it's going to be a little dense. So I'm going to... Yeah, see, it kind of makes it look more buttery. Has almost a... Yeah. A darkness to... Oops. That's too much. Could do... Oh, snap. That'll at least create the illusion. And... Yeah, like I said, it's translucent to a point. Oops. We'll just call this yellow too because it's not really shade. Well, never mind. I will leave it that way. Let's just pull this down to like a 200 or something. There we go. And then the top should have a slight white tint-ish yellow thing. So what I'm saying is this will be yellow, but lightly yellow, almost white, and then still transparent to like, well, not quite as transparent, maybe like 235. And then that way I should be able to, there we go. That creates the effect that I want. And then from there, you can, if you want it to look more detailed in depth. Yeah, just do that kind of thing. You can add different variations of color and all that good stuff. Let's do a solid 25. Oh, I see what it's doing. Again, the striation is going to change, and then it'll make it look like it's wiggling. Let's get kind of crazy with it, and it'll look more natural, sort of. So it's only a few drawings, so it should do what I'm asking it to, hopefully. So yellow, shade, highlight on top, shade on the side. Yeah. Oops. Highlight. I'll save that, and then we'll pretend that looks like Jello. Okay. And then the same thing, you just yellow shade and you grab this, and then just doesn't have to be perfect because again, it's moving. Shade. I think that's cool. And then I can probably just change either the background or looks kind of like Jello to me. Now the only problem is that some of these, that doesn't look like it's moving too much. So that one maybe. I'll just color this over it. Usually it'll do what like I was saying, it'll automatically kind of do it by organically messing with it, but apparently that didn't work, so. Oh, hold on. Let me. So here. Yeah, we'll just do this. Like it's at rest almost right here. Okay, I think what I'm going to do, actually, I'm going to follow the striations of this, or I'll follow the curve using contour lines of each one of these drawings. So basically, like how this goes up here, that goes across. This I'm going to just do like with the curves, oops, the curves of the Jello top like that. Should hopefully create a sense of flexibility and shape. Yeah, I think that's cool. Again, this doesn't matter as much, and could even throw like a little highlight across this one here. Oops, went a little too far there. I'm going too far, dang it. Alright, and here. I think I'll do maybe just like a random highlight or something over here to create the sense that it's got like shininess. And then maybe a little, well, that's already shaded, so you're not going to see that, right? Maybe a highlight here. Okay, that works for me. And I mean, you can keep going, and you could keep, make it really, really dark on, say, like the bottom through. You could do like a stronger yellow. I suppose you could do like that. If you wanted, I suppose you could, do another drawing in between these two, and kind of overkill, but I mean, you can just do this drawing in between the background, and you could draw the base of each one of these things so that instead of black, you just use the color, and then like that. I don't even know if you can see it like that, though. I suppose, let me just do this. Hang on. Yeah, you're not, never mind. You're not going to see that. It's not even worth trying to do. But you could, nonetheless, if you were to drop the opacity of that. But because of the same color and they build up, I'd actually have to change the color. I don't feel like messing with all that right now. Not a big deal. I mean, you basically, if you did this, it should show up a little better. Unless, yeah, see, that's creating the effect of the shadow there. You couldn't do that if you feel the need. Kind of creates more of a translucency effect. And then I might do it. I don't know. Let's see. See if you go. What's the bottom of this? Maybe like that. Whoops. If you so choose, you want to do it that way. I think it's a bit overkill. That might work better. And I'm looking at a reference for a jello because the way the light is catching, it's really interesting. Something like that. All right. Majority of this is already done. This is just being silly and kind of being nitpicky, just trying different stuff. But it was meant to be silly and simple. So there you get that shadowing effect. I'm not sure why it's... Oh, it's because of the vectors. It's the pencil. This will be better. Mm-hmm. It's just trial and error for me. Like, if you're trying to get it to be looking good in the neighborhood. See, it has those lines there from the vectors. I don't know if that would render that way. I feel like it will. Let's see. Can I... Not a big deal. Okay. I am going a little above and beyond for this, but it's okay. It's supposed to be fun. Certainly isn't going to have to be perfect. But this guy, we will just try the... All right. Yeah, I don't know. I was hoping that those lines wouldn't show up though. I don't know if they're going to render that way or not. I'm like messing with that right now. I'll just find out later. I think that looks okay. All right, then we just copy these three, paste them, go back to the top layer, and then see it's nice and shaded. That's like a little depth. If it's too intense, I can always drop the opacity of this down. I think, can you drop the opacity this way? Oops. Looking to see if the transparency is right here. Okay. Can you straight pre-multiply with black? Okay. Oh, I suppose there are those are different types of yellows in front of it, so it's affecting how this. Okay, that makes sense. How this yellow is looking on the red. I suppose it doesn't necessarily need to have this red up here. And that should be good. Okay. If you guys are hanging out and watching this, sorry, I'm trying to be entertaining and somewhat explanatory. Is that a word? I don't know. Words are hard. I might just keep it like that instead of doing the front. Maybe. Let's just see. Or if nothing else, I might have to change this red, a secondary red, make it a little lighter. Let's see. No, it's the right color. It needs to be. Yeah, it needs to be desaturated. That's what I wanted. It's more pink, really. But let's just try it, see what it does. I'll just outline this. Let's make a little triangle. I just like the way it looked when it had that in there, so I figured I might as well try it again. Let's see what happens. I think that works. Hope he'll like that. I think it's funny. Maybe I just add a few more little touches here and again. Let's just go like that. Giving it a little depth, maybe. I know it has the highlight, so. Is that too much, I wonder? No, that's cool. I actually like that. So, I'm going to do it again. So it's cool because it's bending with the light. Like I said, you make automatic. It'll automatically make adjustments like that when you draw freehand, and it'll look crazy. I don't know if it looks like Jello or not, but it's definitely something. I mean, yeah, I think that's it. All I'm going to do now is probably change background color. Now the color card is white, and so if I take the drawing of the plate, I can maybe do like I guess a gray would be smart. A grayish plate, maybe. Or see, it creates the effect that it's translucent. That's cool. I don't know how that's gonna look though. Hold on. Oh no, I like that. That's cool. All right, I'm laughing at myself. Then maybe oh, not blue. Let's try that. Perfect. I love it. I don't know how he's gonna use this, but I'm gonna export this as a GIF, and then we done. So if you hung out, thanks for hanging out, and hopefully you learned something. And I'll try to do some more of these as time goes on, and we shall see. Till next time. Peace.